Today's gonna be an active day. I'm gonna do some yoga, but I have a problem here that I wanna contend with first, and I think that's gonna be a little bit of a workout too. And it's mealybugs. I have like little outbreaks of mealybugs around my house, but particularly on this pothos is something that I'm really concerned about. And I was tipped off to it first, not actually by the pothos, but by my Schefflera up here, which started to turn yellow very quickly. And I was like, hey, what's happening with that? Because my Schefflera never turns yellow. And then I kind of noticed my pothos had some yellow leaves, and I've had this pothos for like 5 or 6 years now, and it's been through a lot. It used to actually go all around this mirror. Kippy mowed it over. I had to clip it back. She doesn't really touch it now, but yeah, I started noticing yellow leaves on here, and sometimes people would say, oh, is that a sign of overwatering, underwatering? Oftentimes it could be mealybugs, and so I started to look a little bit closer. If you come in here, and then you could see some of these white cottony masses starting here. And they like to, these little buggers like to hide out like in the petiole, where this like leaf stem meets the stem of the plant here, and just in all these little crooks and crevices of the leaf, which is just how these guys like proliferate so quickly. And I really need to take care of this. This is going to continue to be a problem, and because this pothos is so long, all these bugs could transfer very easily to my other plants. So you're gonna see me struggle a little bit with this today. Okay, one of the things that I have with this is that it's actually connected to my wall, which is a bit of a challenge. I might actually need to get, oh no, I could just pull that out. Yeah, you can see this like actually goes all the way up and touches another pothos, so I have to kind of be really mindful of this because I don't want to infect my other pothos. I'll take these down. These are all very mealybuggy, so I'm going to compost these right away. I'm going to actually give this a shot of saving it because it's been with me for a long time. So I just pulled this yellowing leaf down, and you could see this cottony mass. It's probably a bunch of mealybug eggs. Let's see, it looks like they didn't get that far on this plant. Okay, yeah, I see some mealybugs on this Philodendron Neon as well. So, okay, let's see if I can take this down. Yep, that's 2. So I think I've successfully gotten this detached from my wall. All right, yeah. So my first step is to quarantine this. So I'm going to put it into my shower. And there I'm going to actually get my hose and use the shower to use some sharp sprays of water to take down some of the mealybug population. And then I'm going to spray it with either horticultural oil, I think that's what I have on hand, or neem oil, and just try to get some of these numbers down before I could actually get some beneficial insects in to help me out with this. I'm going to actually get my hose. I've assembled a 150-foot hose in my house in order to be able to help with things like this and also water my plants. Now this doesn't have a lot of pressure, but it has some pressure. And so what I'm going to do is, you'll see there might be like some white here, and you just spray it down, and that might actually knock down some of the mealybug population naturally without any chemicals or anything like that. So if you're concerned that if you have like little kids or if you have animals, I mean, water is always my first go-to strategy in kind of taking down pretty much almost any insect. If you don't have a hose in your house, because not many of us do, but if you have a hose in your backyard and it's warm out, you could actually go take your plant out there, or you could just use your shower here, which I'm going to do as well. The reason why mealybugs are so aggressive is that they hide in those little stems and those petioles like I showed you, and that is part of the reason why they're so successful, because even with sharp sprays of your hose, you can't always get into those spaces. And of course, when you have a bigger plant like this one, it's a bit of a tangled mass. And of course, I have like the tiniest shower. Now you know I'm dressed in my yoga clothes. You can get really wet really quickly here. Sharp sprays of a hose might damage a leaf. So you want to make sure you hold your hand like this so the leaf doesn't get damaged. But in this case, with this Epipremnum aureum, it's not really going to damage much. I'm taking a shower along with my plants, sort of. I can even see some of these mealybugs like right here on the side of the pot. There. This is also the benefit of being able to check on your plants, and I've noticed the mealybugs for a couple weeks now, and I did nothing about it. But today is the day that I'm doing something about it. And I'm using slightly warm water. It's not like super cold, so I'm not like freezing the plant. Some plants are a little bit more sensitive than others. All right, so those are my first 2 lines of defense: sharp sprays of the hose, little shower, and I use so many different kinds of brands for horticultural spray. It's kind of what's available around me. So this is a horticultural spray oil. You could also use neem, but neem gives me a little bit of a headache. I think it's so strong. It's natural, but it still gives me a headache, and I'd have to wear like a mask. So this horticultural spray oil is more of what I use, and you can see that it hits on spider mites, scale, and some eggs. I also spray this into here in my shower so I don't get horticultural spray everywhere. I'm just aiming kind of all over the plant because it will kill eggs and also the insects on contact. It's not like a systemic pesticide or anything. It's not a pesticide at all. It's just like a kind of an oily substance that coats the bodies of the eggs or the bugs. So I'm just rubbing all of these over the leaf, this horticultural oil over the leaf. And horticultural oil is not going to harm you or anything like that. Like I said, the neem oil gives me a little bit of a headache, but you could use it. I'm sure some people find it to be extremely effective. I'll use it if I can't get the horticultural spray. And then after this, I'm almost out of this. After this, I'm going to kind of have this as a holdover to control, the mealybug population so it doesn't spread at least any more right away. And then as it starts to get warmer, I'm going to bring in some beneficial insects like through integrated pest management. And I'll probably bring in green lacewings. I could also bring in crips, which are like a black ladybug. I talk about this like way more extensively and show the release of those in my Houseplant Masterclass if you want to see that. But I probably won't be bringing in crips this time. I like to bring in green lacewings. I just have to see at least how much of the population I was able to get down. And obviously this is just one of a couple plants that I need to actually take care of. So I'm just gonna let this kind of sit in here for a little while and just kind of like soak in its juices. You wouldn't want to put the horticultural oil on first and then put water on it because, this is not a systemic pesticide or anything like this. It just is a type of oil that coats the body, and it only really kills on contact. So it's not like it stays on the leaf and, mealybug could come on, 30 minutes afterwards and totally be fine. So I'm just going to let this sit in here, and I'm going to survey some of my other plants. I'm going to come up close to this, and you'll see on this neon, this Philodendron Neon, you'll see that there's a little mealybug right here. Look at these two, side by side. And I am probably going to do the same for this one, but since that one's in the shower, I'll have to handle this later maybe after I return from yoga. And since these are hanging kind of everywhere and connected to all other plants in my house, I just want to be mindful of cleaning these off. So I feel pretty good that got the mealybugs for at least a first pass on them, because if you don't stay on top of it, they will proliferate like crazy. So you saw that's some of the strategies that I use. That one was a little bit more aggressive because it's such a large plant. I have some mealybugs on some smaller plants and I'd probably deal with them differently, but that'll have to be for another time. Now, it's time for some yoga.